Combat sports began long ago in our family, before even I was a thought. With with my father and my uncles when they first immigrated from India. As many know, wrestling is a way of life, part of our culture in India, especially when you come from the poor villages. It's a sport that's accessible to everybody. So you did that as a way of life, as a way of survival, and a way of entertainment, to keep busy. You didn't have iPads or anything back then. So that came over when my family came over, immigrated from India onto this land here in Vancouver. And for myself, I got right into it as soon as I was born, basically. We've had a gym at our house since day one. So at that time, my father was still competing, so he'd be training. People would be coming to the gym at our house there, and I was raised in that environment alongside all my cousins and my brothers in the family. There's 10 of us boys, so we all wrestled and grew up in that environment. But I continued on the path and was able to achieve international success, represent my country, and along that way, seen many things in the world, and now I'm doing this. It is a mentality, it's a mindset, it's an attitude, and it's something I've had maybe nurtured, instilled, whatever you want to call it, but I've taken to it. I belong, I have a sense of belonging to that mindset. You don't do anything to be the best in BC or best nationally. You do the absolute best. And that might be provincial level, that might be international level. I felt and I believe that it was an international level. So it was whatever I wanted to do was never to be the best locally. It was to be the best, period. And that took me to great heights, that drive and that motivation, that belief. Like I said, that's just something, and that's translated to every aspect of my life. And that was taught. I was brought up with that mindset. I had great parents growing up. My environment, taught me that. And when I studied champions, because that's what I wanted to be. I studied the people that I'm taking this path. You didn't ask anyone in my mom. She used to take us to libraries and stuff. I'd go straight to the sports section. Read up about biographies on athletes, the best at how they did it. It was just something that I was very interested in, and I am today. I seek out, the most knowledge of the most successful people in whatever they do, business, sports, philosophy in life, people that have died long ago, how they did it. The similarities are all across the board. Many ways to get there, but there's, every person's unique, and it takes different pieces to make that puzzle to get you there. And that's what I've kind of created for myself. In wrestling, I put the right people around me. In MMA, I've done the same thing. And I think anyone that's successful has those traits and does that for themselves. You build that environment and that support network that help you get there. And only you really know what you need and don't need. The process was basically, I knew where I wanted to be, and I wanted to be the best in the world. And so to get there, there are steps and goals and benchmarks you need to hit along the way. And there's always going to be letdowns. But for myself, I've been fortunate that when there's the most pressure, at the most critical point, where all eyes, all lights are on, I've been able to be successful under the most pressure. That's where I enjoy to be. So at the local level, you can say provincials. At the high school level, from high school, national level. After the high school level, you go on. I went to university at Simon Fraser University, which was tough, big adjustment. A lot of kids drop off from high school to university. So I was full-time wrestling for SFU while being a student and pursuing my degree in political science. And then the third element was I was also on Team Canada. So I was doing all three, which was really tough and challenging, but it was a testament to kind of the work we were putting in, the success we were having. So I wasn't about to say no or get too stuck up on how hard it was. That got me ready for the international level, right? I always had my eye on the end goal of where I wanted to get to and where I wanted to be. Always setting little ways to challenge myself. If I'm working this hard, that guy across the world, he's working even harder. He doesn't have, fresh food on the table. He's fighting for that. So this is my challenge, and I have to work through this and setting these, challenging myself. Really, that's what it comes down to. It's even now, like all those After that, I went internationally, Commonwealth Games, Olympics, all that. It wasn't necessarily winning that medal that was it for me, or that opponent that was in front of me. It was challenging myself to see what I'm made of. That's what I enjoy the most of this. You know, it's setting a goal, working as hard as you can. You know, working your tail off to accomplish it. Everything, all those emotions that go into it, that process of building, of feeling run down and going to camp, and all the voices you hear out there of people waiting for you to fall, and then still succeeding, and just to overcome all that type of stuff. That whole process is what's worth it to me. And I do that today even, right? I find ways to challenge. I'm my biggest challenge. That's what, if I go out and compete, many times, it's not as challenging as my own training, as my own expectations. I'm my toughest critic. I'm always looking at ways to better myself, and that's what I think it is. It's not about, did I do enough to win that gold? I could have been beyond that gold, been ready for something even greater. That opponent couldn't have pushed me to my limits. So, it's not, that gold medal doesn't signify what I had. I'm always trying to find what I'm made of, pushing my own limits. And that's what I find the cool thing in life. And that's, I think, what I took to the sport, because you will find people that are your equal or greater too. And then okay, I got to be able to push beyond this and to that limit. And that's sort of the game you play with yourself. And that's what I like. This space is everything. This is the spot we came when we had a disagreement amongst us boys in the family. This is a spot where we came when one's ego was out of check. This is a space we came when you wanted to test yourself, challenge yourself against one another. This is a space we came where we got ready for battle. This is a space we came which really brought us together as a family. Even though we've grown now, bigger numbers, all that, this is the common denominator always. This is the common space always. The sport of wrestling, that's something that doesn't matter what you're into, you can always relate. There's always a sense of belonging, and it created the fundamental base for our family, which we've branched off and to had success in many other areas of business and life. But it all came from this place right here. Many lessons learned. Many lessons taught, and great stories here. Yeah, you look at these walls and it tells a story of the journey. You've got my very first article. I was grade 9 in our local paper, first provincial championship, all that stuff. I remember being in high school and my teacher cut it out and read it out in front of the whole class. I was kind of shy, kind of proud, all these emotions. All my friends were there, very happy and excited for me. Those moments that continue to drive you, and you want another taste of that, right? So it was a very big moment, and we got that here on the wall. From there, through the high school career, university career, international career, all the way up to the Olympic Games, our Team Canada poster, Commonwealth Games victory, snapshot of that. You got the whole story here. You got letters of congratulations from the community, pictures with many of my supporters from across the world on the walls. It tells our story, our journey, and continuing on. We got our shots from now our MMA fights, and it's a never-ending kind of path, right? But the people are consistent throughout the pictures from the beginning to end. It's my family, it's my closest supporters, and that means a great deal to me. You can see the joy they have being a part of it, being happy for me. Like I said, it's amazing to look back on and continue to build, and it's my goal to fill out these walls, not just with my story, but next generation that's coming up in our family. This is our pride and joy on these walls here. When I'm visualizing, it used to be shadow wrestling, now it's shadow everything. The wrestling, the striking. But, the key to that for me is to be fully conscious in the moment when I'm doing it. I don't just do it to go through the motions, because you don't get the full benefit of it. For me, I do it and I get a certain emotion from it. I'm fully in the moment that I'm recreating. I recreate it so much before I get there that none of it's a surprise when it happens. None of the jitters are there, none of the over-the-top excitement you might see from other individuals. I expect everything. I've relived it so many times, not just in my mind, but physically, emotionally, spiritually. I've lived it, I've walked that, I've competed in that. That whole process is automatic when I get there. And a real big part of that is the emotional aspect of making it that real, where I could, I get goosebumps thinking about it. I feel the crowd, I feel the lights, I feel the heat, I feel my sweat, my heart rate goes up. All that is so real, it's almost like I'm actually doing it. I get to that place. Hard work, the way I was raised, hard work with my father, with my uncles, immigrants from India came here, not a dollar in their pocket, didn't know the language, high school dropouts. They were able to build this for me, beautiful life, giving me the opportunity. My grandfather came over, late 50s, again, coming over with a turban, a beard. You look at him, people, the racism he faced, the challenges he faced, my people faced, I draw inspiration from that. That was tough. That way of life was tough, and they did it for me and my siblings to have an opportunity. So for me to take all that for granted and not do anything with my life, that'd be shame on me. I learned from that, where I come from. I put that to use every day. I draw inspiration from that. The days I have valleys, to get myself up to the peaks again. We've been blessed with so much in our family. A lesson that was taught to me and my siblings. We have farms. I was in high school. As a teenager, sometimes, you have some success, you got some attention at school, friends, all that type of stuff. Girls, you start slacking off. You don't need to go, get your workouts in. You think you've already achieved that. My old man would take me to the fields. He'd show me, 60, 70-year-old men, from India, working out in the heat, working 10, 12, 16 hours, weeding the fields, tending to our fields. And he's like, these individuals do this because they have no other opportunities. You have every opportunity to succeed in life. You have a gift that you have, nurture that. Otherwise, this is your other option. If you don't succeed in school, if you don't make the most of your athletic abilities and the chances you have in life, this is the other option. Don't take what you have for granted. And at times, you throw me in those fields if you felt I was slacking off. And I learned that lesson really quick. So it's a lot to do with my upbringing and again, the way of life that I have. Yeah, you know what? Once I made the switch over from wrestling, I wanted to hook up with the best in the business, right? Duplicate what I had in wrestling, put the best pieces around me to have the success at the world stage. That was the goal. They're second-generation kickboxers. Jay's brother fights for Glory, the biggest kickboxing promotion in the world. So they get it. A lot of similarities between my family, his family. Second-generation wrestler. So I felt we could connect. Just personally, which is very important for that chemistry. And then in terms of skills and mindset, that comes with it as well. And he's a proven track record, Like I said, we clicked, our chemistry was amazing right from the get-go. He's world class. John C. Kickboxing is world class. More than anything, there's that trust. We have that trust between each other. Whatever we discuss, whatever we work on, there's that trust. And that's huge for a student and a coach. And being on both sides of that as a student and a coach, that's highly valued to me. And then more than anything, don't be fooled. Although he comes in a small package, he's got a lot of bark, a lot of bite when needed. But that's, these are the type of people I need. I don't need rah-rah, hype type guys. I need facts. I need, direction. I need real stuff, technical advice that I can trust, and that's what he brings. But like I said, he's got both sides. If I'm doing something wrong, he he won't hesitate to let me know about it and hear about it. You look all throughout history of boxing, very old sport, you know, they compare it to dance. There's a chemistry between a pad holder and a puncher, right? Where you don't have to say it, you can see it in the pad holder's eyes or the fighter's eyes, and you know where to be at the right time. And you develop that through repetition. And for us, you know, like I said, I'm very fortunate. We got it really early. So that, and I don't overlook those types of things. That means something to me, right? That means I'm in the right place. You know, we discuss things, maybe, you know, play with this, play with that. For example, you know, although he's a lighter guy, I'm a heavyweight. I can't do, and I don't want to do lightweight stuff. I might not have longer combos that they have in kickboxing or lightweights throw. I'm more about power, I'm a heavyweight. So he's been able to make those adjustments for someone like myself, and that really speaks to his quality as a coach and as a fighter. You know, I'm used to competing the one-on-one in front of people. Obviously, I've been competing against tens of thousands before, you know, under bright lights, a lot of pressure. I love that stuff. So all that's the same. But it was fun because there's a new aspect to it, you know? I'm not just taking him down. Now I could punch him when I take him down or before I take him down. So that was the fun of it. And again, I love the process of getting ready, of training in that, new things, new tools, new elements, and then putting it to the test. People who say, you know, I don't do it for the victory are liars. Any great competitor relishes that moment. That's what validates all your hard work, what your purpose is, whether it's for your family, for your coaches, for your community, for yourself, whatever it is. For me, it's to achieve greatness, and for myself and those around me. So definitely getting your hand raised is a huge moment. Anytime you can win, it's a huge moment in life. It should be celebrated at every level. You got to be a certain way in life. I choose to be the best at what I do. I don't think, you know, if you're going to be anything, why not have your head up, chest out, be proud of your body of work, and be great.
He's 4-0 as a professional, 30 years old, and stands 6 feet tall. He weighed in at 240 pounds, fighting out of Ryan's MMA from Canada. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Arjun Bhullar!
Arjun Bhullar very quick, a touch of the gloves. Ari Tobe saying he expects this fight to go to the ground at some point. Both fighters would likely prefer to have Arjun Bhullar on top.
I'm guessing that Arjun Bhullar wants to keep this fight standing. Just wants to try and neutralize the jiu-jitsu. It's such a dangerous weapon for Chris Catala, and perhaps he thinks that the fight is even on the feet, and he always has those takedowns to steal around near the end of the round if he needs to.
Yeah, Arjun's got great head movement right now, and he's looking to feel Chris out here early.
Again, finding that range against the taller fighter, the longer fighter across the cage in Chris Catala. Arjun Bhullar, so far, so good in his pro career, undefeated at 4-0. Catala's in trouble here. Bhullar on top, landing shots. Got to be careful though. Catala could grab a submission at any point.
Very good top heavy position from Arjun. He's controlling the legs really well. Great position from Arjun Bhullar here. Looks like he's looking to finish him here.
Just over a minute left in the first round. Chris Catala covering up. Arjun Bhullar trying to finish this fight and get the TKO due to strikes. Catala waving him off to say he's okay. 45 seconds.
And that's going to be it, folks.
That is it. Stop the clock. Arjun Bhullar is your winner.
5-0.
Now 5-0 in his career, like you mentioned, and a big win for Arjun Bhullar in this career, and a tough opponent, and he showed why he is still undefeated.
Hey man, I've been doing this my entire life. Competing weekend after weekend. That's what the grind with wrestling is. That's my roots, that's who I am. And I didn't look too shabby in the stand-up today either.
Honestly, Arjun, a great performance from you. What do you have to work on still? You seem to have everything in there. Is there anything you think you need to work on?
We are world class in every aspect. You want to stand with me? That's what happens. I take you down. That's how I finish you. It doesn't matter. I got the best team in the business. Ryan's MMA, Johnson Kickboxing, Bhullar Wrestling, Steve Gill. No one can touch us when we're working together. And I want to say one other thing. My coach is here, Nick Uguala. He built me up when I was from a teenager to what I am today to give me this and this. Once you have this connected, can no one touch you?
Let's give it up for him one more time. Your winner, Arjun Bhullar.